All right, game of the week, St. Francis at St. John's. It's a rivalry on Friday night live on BCSN and the BCSN Plus app. St. Francis 3-1, a huge comeback win over Clyde last week. They won 30-13. St. John's 0-4, a heartbreaking loss to River Rouge last week in overtime. Good thing for the Titans, though. They might be 0-4 this season, but they are riding a 10-game winning streak over the Knights, Mike Robb. So I think coaches are looking to break that streak over here at St. Francis.
This is ring the alarm button for St. John's. This is bad. I mean, I don't even know what else to say about St. John's. You know, this is just I can't recognize them. I don't know what they're trying to accomplish out there. They got to play with some life. I felt like when I watched them play, it's just like they're competing, they're battling, and then once they had an opportunity last week, they got their heart ripped out, you know, and this is a week where you got to just put that behind because this means more than anything else in the season. You know, we know the schedules look tough. It's going to be murky for St. John's.
Sure.
They got a young roster. They got a lot of good talent, but they got to build those guys up to be ready to come back next year. But everything rides on this game, in my opinion. St. Francis is on a high. Eli, Bill, he is the real deal. You know, he's going to get going. And that's one thing we haven't seen from St. John's is their rushing defense, being able to slow somebody down. So Coach Mack, they got their hands full with this explosive offense. And St. Francis coming in here with this confidence that they hadn't had since the Cromwell days. You know, so now they're back, and St. John's on the other end of it. Do I think that they have a chance? I think their quarterbacks are just good enough to be able to still beat you, but their receivers are still extremely young. So they got to find a way to create some offense and put some points up on the board, and that's been a struggle for them. St. Francis, on the other hand, they got to continue to keep getting better defensively because I like what they've done. Big Polk and the rest of those guys are good. Brown. St. Francis is back, boys.
Raheem Brown, baby. Yeah, they trailed 13-6 against Clyde last week at halftime, 24 unanswered to make that 30-13 win over Clyde. 3-1, the best start. You just talked about it since 2019. So Coach 𝗦𝗨 has the boys ready to roll. And he talked about there were guys in place. They just needed to be pushed in the right direction.
Yeah, and don't forget about Dan 𝗦𝗨. He had the Knights going pretty darn well before he went the college route. But I just think that in that matchup against Clyde, St. Francis has too many game breakers. You know, they might be able to play it close defensively for Clyde and manage the offense to try to keep it close. But when you got guys like Eli Beal, Raheem Brown, you know, you get them into space, and I just think that Clyde doesn't necessarily have the athletes that can go up against that type of elite speed, you know, Division II team for St. Francis versus Clyde, smaller division. But getting back to this St. John's, St. Francis game, 11 years to the day, this Friday is the last time that St. Francis beat St. John's.
Bulletin board.
4,000 days and counting. So Coach 𝗦𝗨 told me on Tuesday that, hey, they know exactly what is at stake here when these two get together. And you got to treat it like it's 0-0. The coaches are majorly pushing that big time. And I think this one might be more even than people think because people on the surface are going to see 3-1 St. Francis, 0-4 St. John's. But keep in mind the schedule strength for St. John's. They are 0-4, yes, but even in the preseason, Coach McDaniel was telling me they scrimmaged Perrysburg and scrimmaged Whitmer. So if you total all 6 opponents, including those 2 preseasons, 19-3.
Yeah,
those 6 teams are 19-3. Now, should they have beaten River Rouge? 100%.
Right.
Should have beat them. Let them in the game. Gift wrapped Miss PAT by River Rouge. You know, St. John's
blocked 2 of them. Still didn't get there.
Coulda. That they straight up blew that game. They should have done it. But you look at the schedule: St. Francis, Brother Rice, then Central Catholic, DCC, Warren De La Salle, UD Jesuit. You're going to have to make some hay here when you can. But I think that this St. John's team does have the ability, but they got to execute in point blank. When you get in the red zone for St. John's, put the ball in the end zone. Put the ball in the end zone 100%. Because too many times they're shooting themselves in the foot with penalties, mistakes, backpedaling interceptions, stuff you can't do if you want to win games. And, you know, some of the guys are young on the team, but not everybody's young. And sometimes you just got to step up and deliver.
Well, let's just call it too. You know, execution is one thing, but also play calling is another. You know, offensively, you know, their offense, you know, has not looked good. It has not looked great. So they got to find a way just to get some rhythm offensively. Like you said, quarterbacks backpedaling, throwing the ball, and not getting the rhythm. Coaches got to call a game that make it easier for these guys to adjust to.